Pasta fans round the world unite. There's a podcast for you tonight. With Gigi and Olivia, about to hit you with some penny trivia. So come on and listen in. We're talking about pasta again. It's the Pasta Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Pasta Podcast, where we talk about nothing but pasta. Today we will not be talking about pasta. Today we will be giving storylines to generated movie titles. I, of course, am a pasta chef. My name is Gigi. What is your name, fellow pasta chef?
I am delusional, also known as Olivia.
Crazy. So I want to explain this a little bit clearer. We have generated some movie titles through a generator online, and we have separately come up with storylines to them. We're going to compare our stories. Olivia doesn't know what I came up with. I don't know what Olivia is going to come up with, but we have the same titles. And I did actually modify some of them. Some of them are like fully AI generated, and then like 4 of them I modified because I thought that they were bad. And by the way, AI is bad, and we're going to be showing our creativity today, showing up the AI. So,
Oh my god.
all
right.
Would you like to start?
Okay, Love of the Past. So it stars a male and a female, and it takes place 3,000 years ago. And it takes place up north. Like I don't know what was going on during that time period, but it's 3,000 years ago.
Ice Age.
And a man and a woman. I don't think the Ice Age is going and a man and a woman have a stick. They find a stick. And they fall in love with it. And so the 3,000 years ago, they thought that was a god. They thought the stick was like some deity. And they fall in love with the deity, both of them. So it's like this love triangle going on. And then the man in the story becomes so infatuated with this stick that he starts hearing it talk. But it's not actually talking. So, and do you want me to tell you the ending or spoilers?
No, you tell me whatever you want to tell me.
So basically at the end of the movie, the woman loses interest in the stick because the man becomes so crazily obsessed with it that she becomes scared of him. But then she, being a woman, tells him at the end of the movie, this isn't the way to be. You shouldn't have these feelings towards a stick. And so the guy and her fall in love. And the end until the sequel.
Ooh, Love of the Future? Maybe?
No, Hate of the Past.
No.
Where they start hating each other. Okay, what is your story?
My story. Okay. This one is the one I put effort into, like 100% effort into, and then all the rest of them are shit. The story opens with dead bodies everywhere covered in body bags. The narrator says, "This is a love story." The narrator, Jack Black. Cut to black. We open on a shot of a little girl. She is voiced by Jack Black. She plays with one of her dolls as the rest are laid out on the floor after some time playing. A body rises on the floor from the floor and says "brains" while inching closer to the live doll. He stops in his tracks. "Brains?" he asks. "No," she responds. "I'm a doll. I don't have brains, dipshit." Note that the zombie is voiced by John Mulaney. They fall in love, and after many trials and tribulations of having their love accepted, the girl stops playing with her dolls. The mother enters, played by Emily Blunt, also voiced by Jack Black. "What are you playing, sweetie?" "Love of the Past." End credits.
It really paints a picture in your head.
Yeah.
You have a cast already for this.
I gotta tell you, this overall theme is gonna stay for all of my stories. It's gonna be very predictable who's playing
The
who.
the last scene they say love of the past.
It has to end on that. It has to end on the title of the movie. So,
Okay, and then we are gonna put a poll, right, Gigi? We're gonna put a poll in our Twitter on who thinks
whose story is better?
whose story is better. So make sure you go to our Twitter after this. All of you, I know you guys, all
Every
of
single
you.
one. You better vote for my stories.
All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Opponent of desire. I don't know how many I could pull out of this. You do this thing in Mad Libs. I'm kind of glad I decided to do this, but at the same time, I'm not. Okay.
You got
Opponent of
this.
desire. So it's basically the beginning is a boxer, and he is like super like into boxing. Like he boxes all the time. He is like crazy. Like I don't know the word for obsessed. He's obsessed with boxing. And he becomes so obsessed with boxing that he like there's one time where he's in the ring and he goes absolutely crazy and he kills a guy in the ring. He kills a guy in the ring. And
This is a
so
great start.
well, what the great thing is that this isn't even the main character, this is the enemy. So and then Tommy Fitzherbert comes in, and our hero of the movie, he is a psychologist, right? Therapist,
Yeah.
yeah, psychologist.
Yeah.
He's got a PhD, so he is also a detective on the side. And so he discovers this like he's like, he's like a vigilante. But not really. He doesn't fight people. He just does detective work for fun. Like he opens closed cases, we'll say that. And so
and then he doesn't close them.
no. And so okay, so the thing is with the boxer guy is he's got so much money that he's won from all his boxing matches that like he killed a guy that doesn't, and it had no effect on him really, but it still kind of haunted him in the back of his head. And so to to find out more about this boxer, what's his name, Tommy, Tommy goes undercover as a boxer. So he spends months training as a boxer. He's doing therapies during the day, boxing at night to get to know more about this guy, cuz nobody knows about this guy. Nobody knows about this boxer guy, right? And so nobody thinks that this boxer, well, we'll just call him the boxer, knows like did kill him. We all think that he killed him like as an accident, so like he's not charged with anything, is kind of like just brushed aside, and he's paid people to like turn the other eye sort of thing. And but Tommy, he opens closed cases, so he needs to know more about this guy, so he finally trains as a boxer. He gets so good that he is about to fight the boxer. But he can't. He can't.
Because he's
can't fight
fallen
the
in
boxer.
love.
He can't fight the boxer. You ruined it, Gigi. He can't fight the boxer because he's also become obsessed with boxing. And he is stooped to his level. So it's the two of them in the ring. He can't fight him. So immediately he kneels down and he looks him in the eye and he goes, "Mr. Boxer, sir, I can't do this." He was like, he's like kind of a aggressive guy. He's like, "Come on, get up, fight me, Like, come on, this is the greatest sport in the world. Doesn't need a ball. It's that good." Um, and then he kicks his leg, and then the boxer falls over, and then the dude goes, "Why do you like boxing so much? Why do you like it? Why do you like it so much?" And he goes, "Because my grandfather used to do it before he died." And then it goes, and then he looks at him. And he goes, "That's no reason. That's no reason." And then he goes, "Well, I guess my opponent is the desire." Then it ends there.
I thought that you were going to say that he loves boxing so much just because his last name is Boxer, because you referred to him as Mr. Boxer.
Yo,
Mr. Boxer, sir.
Gigi, I don't know how I came up with that. I don't know what part of my brain that was living in.
It was living in the good part, let me tell you. I would
Okay,
watch
your
that
turn.
movie. Okay. Opponent of Desire. When the main character, Jack Black, crosses paths with a girl, Jenna Coleman, voiced by Jack Black, they fall in love instantly and have a one-night stand. Later, Jack Black wakes up and panics, leaving her home. He has to go to work. His work? Spy. His target? Jenna. Watch as the spy-crossed lovers fight the spy system with unicorns in tow in this movie, Opponent of Desire, out October 25th of 2026.
You, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. So, yeah, that one is a spy movie. It's a spy movie.
Nice.
And
I
it's
like
got
it.
Jenna
Jack
Coleman.
Black and Jenna Coleman movie voiced by Jack Black.
Olivia, everyone in this universe is voiced by Jack Black or is Jack Black. There's no in between.
Okay, are we ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
Okay. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Okay, execution without shame. Execution without shame. It's the story of Napoleon. Except it's an AU. It's an alternate universe. Don't stop laughing.
Keep going.
It's a story about how Napoleon, he's actually a pretty loving and caring guy, and he takes care of women. He likes women a lot. He's a huge woman fan, and then at the end he gets killed by the women. And they're not ashamed of it.
Without shame.
Gigi, the boxer was my peak.
I think that it's funny. I think the ending line should be like a person comes up to them and they're like, "Have you no shame?" And then the women go, "It's an execution without shame." End credits.
And there's also a sequel to this where Gandhi is a bad guy.
That's not.
I am laughing way harder than you are. Gandhi, evil Gandhi.
You know
Anyway.
when Gandhi did that evil thing? I do. Okay.
Hey, you, Gigi.
Anyways, execution without shame. Use, if you will, as it's, because it's EWS, use. When a man meets a woman, he decides to execute her in front of her family after he falls in love with her sister, but understandably, her sister doesn't want to give him the time of day. Will Jack Black's character win the sister's heart? Find out this fall in Execution Without Shame, out November 23rd of 2024. It's coming out this year.
Yo.
I have a
Wow.
spoiler for everyone. The sister is also voiced by Jack Black.
My
But
girl
yeah,
knows.
that's
I would watch it, honestly, I would.
okay. Your turn.
My turn. Don't follow. It's a movie about animated caterpillars. And one caterpillar who they're all like a family in this tree. They're all like, hey, we gotta stay in this one tree. All the caterpillars are in here, and we gotta be in here until we can graduate to butterfly. Or what are they turn into moths?
No, butterfly.
Butterfly. So we gotta stay in here until we turn into butterflies. But Jackie is a bit different. He has a disorder where he won't turn into a butterfly. He'll remain a caterpillar. And so he's also immortal. That's to note. Until he's like an elf from Lord of the Rings. Like, he's immortal, but he gets hurt and stuff. Like, he can get killed, but otherwise he'll just live forever, you know? They call him the elf. It hurts his feelings a little, but he doesn't really like it. And so Jackie decides, one day I'm gonna leave the tree because I can't be a butterfly. They can't keep me imprisoned here. But nobody believes that he can't be a butterfly. He tells people all the time, he's like, yeah, I've been here for 10 years, which is a very long time for a caterpillar. And so they're like, well, no, you haven't. You're lying. Stop lying. You're going to turn into a butterfly eventually. But then he has like one friend who's like, actually, I've never seen you ever be a butterfly. And I've literally been a butterfly for like 20 minutes, which is also a long time for a caterpillar. And so I need to get to the point. So Jackie leaves the tree. And then he finds ants. He's never seen ants before. So he starts following them. And then he gets to befriend the ants. And so he slowly starts acting like the ants. And then he figures out that all ants are immortal. Like him. So he feels like that maybe he was born into the wrong body.
Is this a trans allegory already?
so Jackie decides that he wants to look more like an ant, so he paints his skin black. His caterpillarness.
Trans allegory and blackface in the same movie.
And then he goes up to his other caterpillar friends, his one friend, that's the butterfly, and he goes, Tommy, I've found who I am. And Tommy's like, that's great, but what? And he goes, I'm actually an ant. And he was like, what do you mean you're actually an ant? And then he goes, I followed those ants over there. They're immortal just like me. They don't turn into butterflies either. So Tommy and Jackie go and follow the ants again. But this time they get stepped on. Don't follow. The end.
You know what I think is funny is that the AI generated one. This was one of the ones I modified because it originally was called "Don't Follow Me," and I was like, I feel like that's kind of a weird title. Don't Follow could be the title of a horror movie, but Don't Follow Me is like, yo, don't follow me. Okay. in a very different genre of movie, but still still has a horror aspect. Because yours
It's got many
definitely had a
aspects.
horror aspect.
Yeah, it's a thriller.
Yeah. Um, Don't Follow. In this found footage style horror movie, a stalker, Jack Black, records his obsessive crush, Jack Black, watches the two Jacks chase each other as the stalker tries multiple times to get into Jack's home, and one of the Jacks die. Don't Follow out in 2025 to be announced. This is when I started getting a little tired of writing.
Oh,
So it's okay. We're
like
gonna get back on the good shit in a second, but
it.
not after your good shit.
I'm ready. So, oh yeah, this one I was waiting for. Catastrophe with a capital CAT. So, it's a story of those construction machines, the cat ones. and it's the apocalypse for them because humans are actually they're reverting back to the way they used to before machinery existed, and they're actually like doing stuff by hand and using ropes and crap. And so the cat machines think that life is going to end for them, and so they have to team up together to make humans want machinery again. Yeah, that's it.
This sounds like corporate bullshit that like a company would come up with because people stopped buying their oil or something.
All I can
They're like
picture is two of those like shoot, what are they called? The big hangy things?
the cranes.
Cranes. All I can think of is like those big cranes like talking to each other and being like,
Yeah.
"We gotta get the humans again.
They're
We
like,
can't. We can't lose our use."
listen, if I airdrop you a cat into this person's backyard, you can stalk them and see what they need. And I'll airlift you right back up when you give me the signal.
Somebody grab the forklift too.
This one is the one that I would want to watch a movie about like the most is this movie about machines. Okay. Anyways, so my version of
They also take. Sorry, I had to add. They also take away forklift certification, so you don't have to be certified anymore.
people are gonna die.
That's what they want.
Okay. Anyways, my version of catastrophe. Movie opens on a shot of a ton of cats falling from the sky. The camera pans and there's God, played by Morgan Freeman. Voiced by Shadow, Olivia's cat. He throws them gently into a bouncy house. The cats bounce all around, and it is revealed this is how the cat distribution system works. This is why cats are found in dumpsters and graveyards and grocery store roofs. It's a catastrophe, but a good one. And I will note that there is a Jack Black in this. Jack Black voices all the cats. So
I like it.
yeah. Right.
Meow.
Meow. Yeah, I was like, who's gonna voice Morgan Freeman? Because I don't want it to be Jack Black this time. I was like, Olivia's cat.
Yo.
Sorry, Sinbad.
Shadow becomes a voice actor. Sinbad's too high pitched. He'll never make it in the industry. Sorry, Sinbad.
He'll never make it in the industry of being God.
All right. Are you ready for the next one?
I am.
Temptations of Heaven. So, Heaven is a gay nightclub. And Margot and Frankie meet each other there. They're both there with their straight friends, though. Or wait, no. They're there, but they're both straight. They're there with their friends, their gay friends, but they're both straight. And so they start hanging out with each other. And then they find out that they're actually long lost siblings. And then after they reunite, they buy an island, and then they call it heaven because it's the nightclub that they met. And they're then plot twist, they're the ocean is also replaced by lava. So that's the plot twist. The ocean is replaced by lava. Which you think would make lava, but it actually made cobblestone everywhere.
We've dropped ourselves into a Minecraft universe.
and then after the cobblestone, it gets kind of heavy after a while, and so they go back to the nightclub, and they decide that they didn't like each other in the first place, so they stop hanging out. 1 star on Letterboxd. This movie's sick, starring Russell Crowe and Margot Robbie.
Yo, is Margot Robbie one of the gay friends? Okay. Well, this one I did not put very much effort into this. So I'm gonna build it out a la Olivia, without having written any of it down after I say the written parts. Okay. Temptations of Heaven. Story follows God, Morgan Freeman, as he fights against the devil, Morgan Freeman, voiced by Jack Black, watches the two fight for power of the universe in Temptations of Heaven.
Oh, yours sounds so much better than mine.
You know what happens? What happens is that God's like, hey, devil, stop telling people to have sex. And the devil's like, no. And then God's like, what do I have to do for you to stop telling people to have premarital sex? And he's like, you know what you have to do? You have to let me back into heaven. And so the temptation of heaven is actually God's temptation to want to stop this, but he doesn't want to let the devil back into heaven because he's like, you're Satan. I can't just let you into heaven. You're not supposed to be up here. You're supposed to be down there. You know, you work downstairs. I work upstairs. And it's one of those like situations where you think it's going to be like, you think it's going to be a story about religion, but really it's a story about shitty office working scenarios. You know, when somebody higher up from you gets all of the privilege of telling people how to do and how to live their life. And when you give advice the one time and you're like, hey, maybe premarital sex ain't that bad, he's just like, no, you can't tell people that. It's like, dude, it's advice. I'm not telling them how to live their life. You're telling them. And in the end, you know what happens? I'm going to spoil it at the ending. You know what happens is the devil beats God and he takes over God's job, and God realizes that the devil has to deal with so many awful people because he gets all the bad people. And they switch jobs, and God calls Satan like all the time, and he's like, hey, can I have my job back? I really don't like it down here. I'm not accumulated to this hot weather. The people all hate me. They're really mad that they didn't get into heaven even though it wasn't my fault. One of them threatened to kill me today, and then Satan's like, well, like 15 of them threaten to kill me every day, so I think you're doing fine. And then the movie ends with him being like, I guess I shouldn't have tempted you into heaven.
Yeah, that's good. Is it all fleshed out characters? I like it.
Yeah. Who would have thought that Morgan Freeman would fight against Morgan Freeman?
The Battle of Morgan Freemans.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I think that's the most movie. That's the most...
That's the most
That's probably the one I would want to watch the most.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, well, anyways. Next one is Rat Adventure.
This is my favorite.
This is the story of Percival, Fran. Percival Fran, who is a naughty boy. He's British, of course. And he's like the meanest kid on the playground. And he's always like kicking people and like pushing them in mud. Like he's like a bully. He's terrible. He's like Percival's the worst. And so one day he keeps pushing people over and he runs home to his mother. And his mother is like, "Oh, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to, but I'm gonna have to because I can't control Percival." So she goes to her clock and she spins the left hand twice counterclockwise. And then she presses the 2 on 12. And then she clicks her nails a few times, like she taps on her nail beds.
Uh-huh.
And then a witch appears out of nowhere.
Yo.
Yeah. And so the witch goes up to the mother and she goes, "Okay, you summoned me. What do you want?" She goes, I need my son to be taken care of. I don't want him dead. I don't want him dead because I love my son, you know. But he is just he wreaks havoc, you know. He's bully, he's mean kid, he's not nice, he doesn't treat me or his father nice, who's not in the picture, by the way. But she's like, it's just disheartening to see my son do this. I need him to be taken care of. So the witch goes, I know exactly what we need. I'll get to work. So she poofs. She goes in her little cauldron. She's in a little stirring pot, you know, and she's like throwing things in there. She's looking in her book, reading. There's like a montage scene, you know, and it's like her making like a little potion, and then at the end she's covered in morsels, and she gets she has a little cupcake, and that cupcake is full of a secret ingredient, if you will. So she gives it to the mom. She goes, "Here, feed him this. This will take care of him." And she goes, "Okay, but it's not killing him, right? I don't want him dead."
She's very adamant on that.
"I promise. But he will be different from now on." So mother goes, "Thank you so much. I needed this." So she goes up to her son, you know, Percival. She goes, you know, Perk. Perk. They call him Perk for short.
Listen, Perky. Listen, Perky set.
And so she goes up to him and she goes, "Perk, I get you a treat. You want to try this cupcake?" And he goes, "Yes, I do," because he's a little fat pig. And so he tries to, he gobbles it all up. Then he turns into a rat. And then as he goes on being a rat and like going throughout his day and stuff, and like he knows how bad rats have it. And you know, the mother doesn't really know where he went. She just thought he went poof. And the mother just was like, "I wonder where he went." And so she, like, you know, starts putting up like missing signs, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's a good thing that stupid kid is gone." And so she, you know, she's kind of worried about him, but that's kind of the subplot. That's not that important. And so he goes on and he learns to be a good person through being a rat. And he realizes how easy he had it as a human and how hard it was as a rat. And so he like, so he has a moment where he's like, "I'm sorry, I promise I'll never be like that again. I've realized my mistake." So the potion only can reverse when he admits he's wrong. So the potion reverses. The witch comes back, but the witch this time is like hoed out. Like she's like all cunty this time, and she's like, gorgeous. She's like, Perk, you did it. You reversed the spell. And he was like, the spell? You gave me that cupcake? You're my Aunt Terry. It's his Aunt Terry. So
Olivia's like, this is a big plot twist, but I've never introduced you to this character before.
the
But
witch is
just so
his
you
Aunt
know.
Terry. And so he goes, Aunt Terry, you gave me that cupcake? He knows she's a witch, everybody knows. They're in England. And so she goes, yes, I did it for your own well being. Now go home, apologize to your mother and your friends. So it's basically a Christmas story, but without the Christmas and without the ghosts. But he learns to be a good person through being a rat. The
Wow.
end.
That's crazy. I find it funny that the mom was like only a little bit concerned when he was missing. The way that you made it sound, she was just like, "Okay, it's not gonna kill him, right?" So she should be really concerned. But he leaves, and she's like, "I guess that was part of the spell. I don't fucking know." Like it could have just like spawned him, like teleported him into a bunch of like lava or something. But she was just like, "Eh, he's probably fine."
She went out missing, looking for him.
Yeah, but the way
She put
he
an ad on
phrased it.
Facebook.
Oh, well, then that fixes everything.
Okay,
Anyways,
do yours.
my version of Rat Adventure. This movie follows the story of Remy from Ratatouille's brother Ratigan, who goes on an adventure, go figure, and meets a mouse. They fall in love and they have to hide their love from their family. And then you know what happens is the mouse is like the mouse takes the rat back to her place to meet her family. And the mouse is like, we hate rats. Mouses are supposed to hate rats. You're not supposed to like rats. Um, and the mouse is like, why? And then the mouse family goes on to explain the long war that they've had as mouse and rats, and how they've been bred to hate each other, and that they will not accept this relationship in any form, and they want her to settle down and find a nice mouse, um, and they have to go on this adventure to prove their love, because they're like, listen, if you really love this guy, you have to find this artifact. By the way, I'm going off the book now. You have to find this artifact, okay? Because if the rat puts it on you and it glows, then it'll be like you're in love, like you're actually in love. But if it doesn't, then I can't accept your guys' love. And by the way, the rat family is also there, and they're also like, yeah, I don't want this to happen, but if you guys are actually in love, I'll accept it. So
Mm-hmm.
they have to go on a rat adventure in order to find this lost artifact. And they find the artifact, and they have to beat this evil rat that's like a buff rat, like he works out kind of a rat. He has a
Oh
six
yeah.
pack. He is animated with the six pack. um and they have to beat him, and then when they finally beat him, they get the artifact, they run back home, um, and they put the artifact on the mouse's around the mouse's neck, and it glows, and they're like, we accept your love now, be free. And then I don't know why, but they're evicted from their from their house, so they have to get a new house because now they're like married or whatever. However it works
Yo,
with rats. um,
happy ending.
yeah, happy ending. Although I will tell you that they do not find good housing for at least a couple years. They are living on the streets. This mouse does look like a rat now.
Oh, well,
And the
at
rat
least they
dies
get.
after a year. After a year of getting an actual house.
Oh, well, they had a good run.
Yeah, they had an okay run.
All right. Are you ready for the next one?
I am.
All right. So it's called Betrayal of the Sun. Sun as in, hot, not as
Yeah.
in daughter and son. Um, so this is a movie about vampires, and it's basically the vampires are trying to get rid of the sun, and because if they're out in the sun, they get burnt up. It's not good.
Yeah.
And so the vampires find this special cookie. They find this cookie that if they chuck it at the sun, then if they chuck it at the sun, then the sun might disappear. And so they need to figure out how to make this cookie, and they need to figure out how to make it in abundance. They need to figure out how to make, like, mass produce this cookie, basically, if they want this to work. And so they meet this, like, tailor kind of person who's, like, fixes clothes on this as their main job, but also, like, deals with vampires on the side. And so
What is with you and your side jobs today?
it's so the tailor basically tells them, yes, I can get you a recipe for this cookie, but it's gonna cost you. And they were like, sure, whatever you want. What do you want? Guy goes, your daughter is very beautiful. And he goes, you want to marry my daughter? Sure, take her. Daughter's like, I don't want to marry him, like, "Ugh." And he goes, but this is for the greater good.
She's like, I'm literally still in a 17-year-old's body. I know I'm thousands of years old, but this is
Yeah.
creepy.
And so she's like kind of grossed out by it. So she is like, my father's insane. He wants me to get married off to this weird dude who deals with vampires on the side. And so she seeks out the ultimate vampire slayer, Tommy. No.
A different
Brixley.
Tommy?
Brixley.
Oh, okay.
Brixley. Brixley the vampire, the ultimate vampire slayer. And so she's like, I come to you not as an enemy, but as an ally. And he's like, how do I know I'm not gonna just kill you on the spot? And and so she's like, because I want you to kill my father. And he goes, but your father's the ultimate dragon, the ultimate vampire king. And she goes, that's right. You need to kill him. He goes, I don't know if I can. And she goes, there is a cookie that will block out the sun. That if we chuck it, it will block out the sun. I bet there is another pastry that will do the opposite effect. In fact, it might make the sun hotter. And so that's how we're gonna defeat him, right? And so they can't go back to the tailor dude because he's weird. And so they go and find the girl's mother, who she hasn't seen in decades, if not hundreds of years. She hasn't seen this woman a long time, but she's the only one who might know about this special opposing side cookie. And she goes, yes, I do know about the cookie, but I don't know how to make it. I can refer you to a friend. So they find out that this friend died a long time ago. The friend was Leonardo da Vinci. And so he took notes on the cookie, though. And so they need to sneak into a museum to find the notes that he took of the cookie. And so they end up stealing the notes and stuff. And then they they make the cookie. And then she has a final confrontation with her father, and she goes, I won't marry this man, father. And he was like, but you have to. We need the cookie. And so she goes, I've made a better cookie. And he goes, you have? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. Chuck it at the sun. So he does. And the sun has betrayed the vampires. And the sun gets hotter. And so it kills off all the vampires. And so, including her, as she looks off to Brixley, and she goes, you saved me. And then she fades away and dies.
That is crazy. You know what? Out of context, we need the cookie is the greatest line ever to be uttered on screen. We need the cookie. You have to. You have to marry this man. We need the cookie.
I also stole 90% of that from the Skyrim Dawnguard DLC.
It's okay. It's okay.
It just reminded me because there's something in the I forget what it's called, but anyways, you do yours.
Okay. Betrayal of the sun. Shot opens on the sun with clouds in front of it. The clouds part, and we see that it's a baby sun from Teletubbies. The baby sun shoots lasers out of its eyes and targets the people below.
What?
The moon has to wake up early and fight back, leaving half the world dark and half of the world bright and on fire. The moon kills the sun, and the baby drops out of the sky and lands on the world below, and a woman catches the baby, and the baby grows up to be the president of the United States. And then,
How?
and then, you know what? The moon is secretly also a baby. The moon dropped out of itself. He self-ejected when the baby dropped out. And he decides to run against the baby in the next election. And the moon wins.
Yo.
And the sun, and he puts the sun on trial for this, like attempt of mass murder on the planet Earth. And the and also like, his penalty is he has to figure out a way to bring the sun back because they have been living without the sun for like 20 years. Well, okay, 30 years, because he can't be the president in 20. And so the sun has to figure out a way to be the sun again. So they have to go on this entire journey together of the sun and the moon hating each other, but they need to find out a way for him to become the sun again. And they end up kind of liking each other at the end of the movie. And the sun is like, you didn't have to run against me just to get me to fix things. I've learned a lot about humans in my time here, and I have a lot of sympathy for what I put them through, and I'm sorry. And then the moon's like, I'm so sorry that I always thought the worst of you. And then the sun fades away and like floats up and becomes this ball of light, and it becomes the sun again. Except no face, no sentient. It just is the sun.
Yeah.
And then the moon does the same thing. He returns to the moon. So that is betrayal of the sun.
That's uplifting. Literally.
It is. Even if you tried to mass murder people, you can always repent. That's the purpose of that movie. Why does it look like human skin?
I took this is my little one of these.
Yeah.
I just took it out for funsies and it looks like it has acne.
It does. Do you ever hear that thing where yeah. Did you ever hear that thing where it's like you're supposed to wear it the other way around and people are wearing it wrong? Is that actually true?
I feel like I have like a neck brace.
I know, but like it also does look comfier. Is it comfy though?
No.
You're not relaxing hard enough.
No, because I have nothing to lean back on. What am I gonna do? Go forward? That hurts my neck. Who hates this kind of
Anyways,
stuff. This is ridiculous. Maybe if you have like one of those really smooth ones, but I have like a shapely one.
shapely one.
It's got a dumpy.
And why does it have a dumpy? Okay, anyways. Yo, he got a sunburn.
Its color is really disturbing me. Why does it
Yeah,
have
okay.
acne? Anyways, sorry.
Moving on. We're down to the last two.
Okay, Knights of Wrath. This is a prequel movie about the ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay. Well. Okay. My version of Knights of Wrath. I swear to God, if people think that your version is better in the poll, I'm gonna kill myself.
Nobody's gonna do the poll.
I will. And if I vote for you, I'm gonna be very mad. Okay, Knights of Wrath. When knights find out that life sucks via a male podcast from the future, they go on a rampage on the lower towns. Will the monarchy survive, or is the monarchy really the remaining knights who won the throne? Find out in the Knights of Wrath.
Oh my god.
And you know what? You know what? All along, the monarchy was the knights, and that's why the British are so fucking awful. Because the knights knew all of the like stuff in the future, and they were like, let's make it worse. Let's make that happen. It sounds great. And you know, that's the reason we have misogyny, is because of those Knights of Wrath.
That sounds good. I would watch that. Honestly. I would hit this male podcast.
Because if they listen to a normal podcast, they'd just be like, whoa, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, if they
But
listen to our podcast, they would probably kill themselves.
Yeah. A male podcast, they would just be like, yo, women are awful, let's kill all of them. That's what they would take away.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, that
Last
was good.
one.
I liked that one.
I think you're going to have a lot of content with this one.
Mime Paradise. Grab your popcorn, Gigi. It's about to be a whole thing. So basically, it's a story about mimes. And they're kind of like in this dome, like in the middle of the sea. Because the president puts them there because he hates them, but we find this out later. But so the mimes, all the mimes in the world live in this island dome. I'm kind of picturing like Sandy's house, but like huge, like
oh yeah,
times like 30. And so one of the mimes is very quiet in this place, but one of the mimes starts getting a little bit confused. And why is there, because he grew up in the dome, you know, he's been living there his whole life. His parents put him in the dome. He has no he was a mute kid, so they just kind of figured he was a mime. So they put him in the dome, you know. His parents don't love him. And so he is like spending his whole life wondering, what's this dome? And he also thinks that people's skin are just white like that, and he's like dressing up to look like them, but they're not. So basically, this mime boy, let's call him Fredson. So Fredson, he doesn't like this mime business anymore, but he also doesn't talk because he's a mute. And so he tries to depict to people, you know, mime like he doesn't want to be here anymore. He wants to leave. But the thing is that mimes don't talk. And so they can't escape because they can't ask to leave. Because that's the one rule, is to leave, you need to verbally you need to verbally speak that you want to leave, or have somebody on your behalf say that you want to leave. So those are the rules. So is mimes don't talk, but he can't talk because and so he spends the first half of the movie trying to explain to a mime what's going on, and he wants to leave, but they're not willing to speak for him because they're mimes. That's like, if they start speaking, they'll ruin their reputation amongst the other mimes. Like, oh, did you hear, or they'll depict, did you hear about that mime over there? He spoke. We'll go like, they'll flap their fingers, and he'll be like, it won't get a good reputation. It won't be cool. Mimes don't use sign language. They use big hands. And so, he finally gets a friend to speak for him, and he says, my friend right here, he wants to leave the dome. Then he goes, okay, you're allowed to leave. And so he leaves. And then he can't handle the outside world. And so he's all confused with how things are. And so he tries to go up to people. He tries to mime to people. And people are like, oh no, a mime. Put him in the dome. Put him in the dome. And he's like, no, I'm not a mime. I'm not a mime. Don't put me back in the dome. And so he sees people, deaf people doing sign language. And he goes up to them and he's like, what are you doing? And they're like, starts talking to him in sign language. So he starts to like learn sign language and stuff. And so he can communicate with people. And so he succumbs to his life, and then he even falls in love, and then he finds out that the one he loves is also a mime. So they both get sent to the dome, but now that they're together, they're happy. So it's a mime paradise.
That was a very good story, Olivia. I don't think you're gonna like mine as much. Okay, Mime Paradise. It's basically the Amish Paradise music video, so it's a parody of a parody, but it's with mimes, and instead the lyrics and the mimes act out every word, and that's literally it.
Oh,
But because they're mimes, it takes them like a really long time to act out what the words are. So instead of it being like, I don't know, like a 6-minute music video, I don't know how long the video is. It's like 10 times that. So it's like an hour long of them trying to figure out how to mime every word. And by the way, this mime that's like miming it is like a new mime. He doesn't know how to mime things. They're like, let's put this guy on stage. And they're like, you don't want to ask like my father who's been doing this 50 years. You want to ask me? I'm 18. And they're like, yeah, you do it.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's it.
That's it. So, should we rank each other? Well, not rank, but like, which one of each other's is our favorite?
I mean, we can try, but I don't remember all of yours.
My favorite of yours was Catastrophe.
It was?
Yeah.
I did pretty much. I did flesh out that one much.
The last one, or no, not that one, but like,
Knights of Wrath.
No, the one before that, Temptations of Heaven. That one was pretty good. Or no.
Oh, yeah.
No, the one with the baby son.
Betrayal of the Sun.
Betrayal of the Sun. Yeah, that one was a banger.
I really liked your which one was it? I liked your version of Betrayal of the Sun too.
Yeah, mine was Skyrim.
I thought that it was funny, and also I think that it's like kind of, I mean, it's kind of iconic. But we need the cookie.
We need the cookie.
That's me on a day when I'm really hungry, but we need the cookie. Okay. Anyways, I think that's it.
Yeah. That's it. Did I take us out?
Yeah, take me out.
Take you out.
Do you want to
Um,
finish that first?
Do it later. So, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Pasta Podcast. We love you so much, Pasta fam, and we thank you for joining us tonight. We love you. We miss you. You have a good night. Thank you. I'm very tired.
Pasta la vista, I wouldn't wanna be you, so I'll see you later, Alfredo alligator. I'm gonna hit the road, you tortellini toad, and out of here and grab another beer. Pasta la vista, I wouldn't wanna be, yes, I've got to split. Sailing tiny elephant, it's about the time. Oh, rigatoni rhino, the world of pasta so fast, but it's the end of the cat. Pasta la vista, I wouldn't wanna be you. I'm headed out the house, Mr. Marinara Mouse. Now you can change the channel, cannelloni